Hi everyone, Sajid Amit here, and welcome to a review of the Fosi Audio ZH3 or ZH3 as it's called in the US. So this is a very sturdy device that sounds as impressive as it looks. So this is a compact DAC amp combo, and I think it really delivers a lot of performance for its price point. Very accessible price point of close to $200, $199 as of the time of filming this. I'll leave a link to the Fosi Audio website so you can purchase this for yourself. So Fosi's been around doing form factor amps that surprise you for performance, but ZH3 it feels a bit different. It hits different. It is a serious shot at a more hi-fi device, and by that I mean not just the finishing and this beautiful copper orange looks, but if you start with the build, this is very solid machined aluminum chassis. It's very beautifully finished. It's very compact and clean lines. It looks a lot more expensive than it is. On the front, you get a big tactile volume knob. You get a balanced 4.4 output, a single and a 6.35. And you also get a small OLED display that shows your sampling rate and your input mode, which is very nifty and it looks very nice. And around the back, you've got a USB-C input, of course. You've got an RCA line out. You've got balanced outputs, which are surprisingly well thought out for the price. This could easily sit next to a topping or an SMSL unit and give them a run for their money. So under the hood, the ZH3 runs on the ESS ES9038Q2M DAC chip, the same one used in DACs that costs 2 to 3 times as much. Its output power is impressive. It's 1.3 watts at 32 ohms, which can drive anything, honestly, with the exception of very power-hungry planars. And like you could get away with driving a Sundara with this, or an Edition XS, and it would sound beautiful. You've got 3 gain settings, selectable filters, a very low noise floor of around 118 dB. It's in practical terms, it's dead silent with IMs, with sensitive IMs even from Campfire, and still powerful enough for cans, for headphones. It supports PCM up to 32-bit 768 kHz, TSD 5112, and MQA decoding. In terms of sound impressions, guys, ZH3 is a neutral bright tonality, but it's not sterile. It has that characteristic ESS clarity, so it's got clean transients, crisp edges, and micro detail that pops with sounding artificial. The bass is impressive. It's tight, it's articulate. I generally like the bass of ESS Saber DACs because they do punch, I think, differently. They have a certain, authority to the bass. If you pair this with a neutral headphone, it won't add warmth. So I do want to say that, but it doesn't roll off, which is what's noteworthy. With something like a 109 Pro or even a Moondrop Blessing 3, you get beautiful texture in the low end. The mids are basically where I was the most surprised because they're open and transparent and present, and vocals do come through with a very good sense of intimacy, which is something that I really appreciated. And instruments do have realistic timbre. It's not as realistic as a tube amp, of course, if that's worth maybe 10, 20 times the price, but you don't expect that. I find a lot of people buying at this price point oftentimes expect too much or expect, more than what they pay for. But I mean, so this is a $200 device. It sounds like a $500 device, so that's what you're getting. You're not going to get an end-game system with this. So when I say the timbre is quite good and instrument timbres are realistic, if you have a friend who owns Riviera Lab AIC10, and if you hear your Sundara on that and then you come to this, you might be disappointed. But that's also a $20,000 device, which I have sitting behind me. So do take that in that context. So this is not going to outperform like most devices that are, worth $1,000 or more. But it does have realistic timbre at its price class. But all these things are relative to the price class, right? Anyway, so the mids are clean, and they're surprisingly intimate, and they're surprisingly nice for the price. It's not lush like a tube amp. The treble is extended and detailed. Depending on your chain, it can sound a bit forward, so keep that in mind. It doesn't sound forward to me because I'm used to resolving cans and systems and devices, so it doesn't bother me, but it might if you're coming from, let's say, a cheaper dongle. So let's say with something like the Edition XS, it doesn't sound that forward, but I can think of headphones like the HE1000 SE with which this is not going to be an ideal pairing. So keep that in mind. I don't think I'm very treble sensitive, but I'm not treble insensitive either. Soundstage is fairly wide at this price. It's fairly solid, for the price. Soundstage and imaging is pretty decent for the price. It's got a lot of clarity, so imaging comes through in an impressive way. You can place instruments in a three-dimensional space, so that's impressive. And pretty wide space. So compared to a topping DX3 Pro Plus or an SMSL HO1000, this feels a little more alive, a little more dynamic, a little more punch, which is what I know a lot of you are looking for. In terms of pairings, I've tried this with a whole range of products, from the Soft Ears RZ Mark II, which I reviewed recently, to the Blessing 2 Dusk, to headphones like Sundara, HD6XX, and even the Odyssey LCDX. For IMs, ZH3 is excellent. It does hold up. It's got very low noise floor, clean output, very good channel separation and balance, and even at low volume. With planars, it holds up surprisingly well. LCDX was driven to full potential and balanced. Although I wouldn't use it for something like Suzaro, of course, like I said. I can compare directly to topping DX5 Mark II, which I reviewed recently. The topping is just a touch smoother, a touch warmer. The Fosi does give you a sense of immediacy, like it's more energetic. So it's a difference between, let's say, a studio monitor and a lively concert mix. Okay, so where does that leave us? The Fosi ZH3, I would say, isn't just good for money. It's good, period. It's got clean power, it's got balanced output, it's got excellent DAC performance, and a design that feels mature and sophisticated, well thought out, and I dare say premium. For around $150 to $200, I think it's a no-brainer upgrade from dongles and even entry-level DAC amps. And for people who are looking for a high-quality all-in-one setup without spending $500, this is it. Kudos to Fosi. You guys have really leveled up here. If this is where you're heading as a company, away from just mini amps towards true audiophile gear, I'm all for it. And shout out to Fosi. And I really hope you guys continue to hit these things out of the park. I really enjoyed your headphone. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for my next one.